Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome into this another edition of Sports Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham alongside Lou Robinson. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours, taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221, and talking about everything going on in the world of sports. As always, this time of year especially, there is a lot to talk about. We'll try to get in as much as we possibly can. But if you've got something you'd like to talk about, if you'd like for us to talk about it, by all means, give us a call. Or you can dial us up on the Sports Blitz Facebook page. That's sports with a Z. And you can check us out on that. You can comment away, and we will we'll talk about those comments as well throughout the show. Alabama, it was another good weekend. The latest victim, Louisiana, as they were hammered by Alabama 56-14. Auburn, despite a minor monsoon and a 2.5-hour rain delay or weather delay, Auburn takes care of Southern Miss 24-13 in unimpressive fashion. Some other games, unimpressive fashion. The SEC, Kentucky, the Kentucky Wildcats. I mean, is it too early to say they're for real? They got to go to. Do we wait until after this trip to College Station, or can we say that for now?
I'm going to say they're for real, but I do think I don't feel comfortable about it. I am a believer to a moderate degree in Kentucky, and I love this team's attitude. Yeah. I do. And usually I always get a weird vibe from the real touchy-feely coaches after a win. You know, they hug all the players and they do all the stuff after a win, after some moderate wins. But when you're Kentucky, I think this is kind of what they need. And if they can go to Texas A&M and get that W, and I feel like they can.
That'd be huge.
A&M's been through the ringer, and I think it also helps Kentucky that A&M had this win over Arkansas, but it was not a great win. We know what Arkansas is. That certainly wasn't a great win. And the whole Jimbo Fisher grab and jerk, as he likes to say, of the face mask, I think that sort of distraction helps Kentucky. And this Benny Snell cat, man, love him. If Tua Tagovailoa wasn't in this league, he would hands down be the player of the year.
I agree with that, 100%. I think Kentucky's got they don't do a lot of you look at their stats each and every week, and they're not blowing you away in any category. They do run the ball extremely well. They play solid defense. They don't beat themselves. They're kind of one of those teams that all they do is win football games. And they're that kind of team that in the SEC will run to a 7-0, maybe even an 8-0 record, but sooner or later they're going to run into a really good team, and it's going to be close, but they're going to lose. And it's probably going to be a Georgia. It might be this week at Texas A&M, but I'm rooting for them. I'm a fan of Kentucky right now. I'm a fan of Mark Stoops.
I am a fan, no doubt, and they're a fun watch.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If they can get by A&M, though, first of all, I mean, when's the last time Kentucky's been 6-0? I mean, not in my lifetime.
Well, they've started out and had some good seasons, but they've always lost to Florida. So they've always been that 5-1, and then just seemed like the second half they tanked.
In fact, Caleb Brooks and I were looking at if they can get by A&M and then get by Vandy, I think it is. They may have Missouri mixed in there somewhere, but I think they have an off week before Georgia.
Yeah.
So you have to assume if they're undefeated at that point, and Georgia at most has one loss, which I think is fair to say, if they have that.
Yeah.
With games against Florida and at LSU and Vandy this weekend, game day in Lexington. And we looked it up. The only time I can see that game day's been in Lexington was weirdly for Kentucky, Florida in 2007. I would have thought it would have been Kentucky, LSU in 2007 when Kentucky beat them, and LSU was number 1, but it was the Florida game earlier in the year, and of course Florida beat them.
Wow. Interesting. NCAA, some games around the country of interest. Notre Dame looked good, hammered Stanford. Maybe that says more about Stanford than it does Notre Dame, but nonetheless, Notre Dame moves up to number, I think, 6 in the country. LSU is your LSU Tigers with Coach O. That's your number 5 team in the country. The Auburn Tigers move up to number 8, ascending the rankings. Alabama still remains at number 1, Georgia number 2. Ohio State out there as well. They're They're playing okay, I guess.
And I made the note in the paper today. If I were voting and I'm voting, if we had saved our votes like a lot of people want to do, which I'm fine with, and vote based on, the eye test and merit, record, all those things, I would probably put Ohio State 1 with the asterisks of I think Alabama's better, but I've got to see Alabama beat somebody of consequence. Now, they have destroyed everybody they've played, and it could have been a lot worse. But Ohio State has gone on the road and beaten Penn State. They have gone in a neutral site.
They did have an assist from Penn State, though.
They had an assist. They had an assist from TCU, if you want to go that route. But they still have those wins on their resume, and I think that counts for something. Now, in 3 weeks, Alabama will probably have enough there. I would have taken them over, but it's kind of irrelevant now. If Alabama goes undefeated, they're going to be 1 regardless. So, and if look, we're headed towards something where if everything shakes out, falls chalk, you could have Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State all undefeated.
Can have Georgia and Alabama undefeated.
Well, I'm saying let's assume Alabama beats Georgia in the championship game. Let's assume Ohio State wins it. Let's assume Oklahoma wins theirs, beats West Virginia twice, whatever. Notre Dame obviously doesn't play 1, and assume the easiest assumption is Clemson going undefeated. So you have those 5 teams who would be left out. Notre Dame ain't getting left out. Alabama ain't getting left out. And Ohio State ain't getting left out.
I'm telling you, without a championship game, Notre Dame's getting left out.
That would be the biggest lock to me is Notre Dame getting in.
I
know you can't because you're Notre Dame hate. Everybody's got it.
I don't hate Notre Dame like anybody, like y'all. I got nothing against them. You cannot tell me that the committee that just fawns and talks about how much conference championships mean after these two teams play an extra game and win their conference if they were to end up undefeated. Now, these things have a way of working themselves out.
They do.
And somebody ends up getting upset and Notre Dame finds their way in, that's fine. But if that were to happen, which I don't think it will, if you had all those teams undefeated, I think they're getting left out.
I think that what they do is I think Clemson would be left out.
And I guarantee you next year, they'd be an 18 playoff.
No, they wouldn't do that.
If they left Notre Dame out there, would.
No, not the next year.
The next year.
No, come on. Come on, Andy. We're running a legitimate program here.
No, we're not. It would happen quickly.
It may happen sooner rather than later, but I don't want to get there. And if there's anything, look, if there's any metaphor for how bad I think expansion would be in college football playoff, it's the expansion of football stadiums. When I see empty seats, a lot of empty seats for Alabama, Louisiana, which I could make the argument, okay, I get it. It's kind of hot, 11 o'clock, everybody's hungover. It's no reason for the students not to be there. I get it for other people not being there. There are a lot of empty seats in the Auburn game. It was homecoming, wasn't it?
It was.
A lot of empty seats.
Yeah, there were not as many empty seats when it started.
No, there were. Even before the rain, there was empty seats.
There were.
Now,
but it rained in Baton Rouge, and that stadium looked half full.
Okay. I was going to say a lot of empty seats in Baton Rouge, a lot of empty seats in Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Georgia's on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, but people have gotten to the point to where they want to see a good game. They don't care about names anymore.
Well, I think that's true. And I think they also, when you're a 33-point favorite, it's kind of hard to get jacked up about Tennessee right now. And also, it's a thing to go to a college football game, man. That's the other thing. Alabama is going to decrease its capacity, and I'm glad to see that. Just like we always get infatuated. That's why the NCAA basketball tournament's going to 68, because it's so unfair to let so-and-so out and so-and-so out. And now it's bloated, and it stinks. Now, so let's go. We're going to bloat the college football playoff because UFC can't get in, UCF can't get in, but they played Memphis twice. I mean, whoop-de-doo. Let them play in the SEC a little while and see how it goes.
They beat an Auburn.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, y'all aren't a real good rep for the I'm sorry, Auburn fans.
All we did was beat the number 1 team twice last year.
Yeah, but that was just, it didn't count.
We couldn't beat the third number 1 team.
It didn't count.
You can't beat 3 number 1 teams in a row.
Can't do it.
It's impossible to do that.
Can't do it.
Just so happened. Anyway, Major League Baseball playoffs. Be a 1-game playoff. Your favorite
We are going to talk
baseball.
about this exactly 0 seconds tonight.
No, we are going to talk about some baseball playoffs.
We aren't. You might.
We are. Absolutely.
Because here's baseball. This is so dumb. I've said this 100 times. Baseball is the opposite of the other sports. Whereas all these other sports have these bloated playoff systems. They have this playoff system where it's this long bloated regular season, then a 1-game playoff. Why did we even have the thing we had yesterday?
Teams. For everybody else, it's a 3 of 5.
That's
and
stupid.
No, it's not.
It's not.
You got 2 teams that are on the bottom.
It needs to be
checked. They are on the bottom of the division winners. You reward division winners, and you make these teams that are just getting in because they're the wild card.
But you're not. First of all,
hey, you didn't even have to get in the playoff. You get an opportunity.
Who is it? It's Cleveland and the Astros, right? And Cleveland plays in a division where it's Cleveland and then 4 or 5 other soup cans.
Look,
so it's not fair.
That's cyclical. That changes.
Well, it's still not fair.
Well, sure it is. I mean, that's just the way it is in life. You just got to deal with it. We're up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Jeremy Kelly, thank you, Jeremy. One thing I can agree with Luke on is talking baseball is unnecessary. Man, that is awesome. And Peaches Yeldon Quandro Rubin says, have y'all read the latest on the college basketball corruption trial? We were just reading that. I don't even know what to make of it just yet. I know if I were Oregon, I would be unhappy. If I were NC State, I would be unhappy. Louisville is perpetually unhappy these days. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I go back to –
you're in Adidas school.
But, I mean, what's going to happen is you think the other shoe companies, you think your Nikes and your Under Armours weren't doing anything?
Well, we're playing it close to the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Nike has always been above board.
So Nike's – well, I mean, for that matter, before we throw too many stones, so is Bruce Pearl. So let's all just –
what has Bruce Pearl got to do with it?
Well, what I'm saying is that I think this is going to be something the NCAA is going to be best saying, hey, guys, everybody gets a mulligan.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be best doing that because Kansas was also mentioning this thing. If you're the NCAA, you don't want Kansas and Louisville, and for that matter, Oregon, who's not been a bad program, and NC State, who's got some history, being in trouble. You just don't want those 4 in trouble at the same time. And you can say, well, what's fair is fair. All that's true. And the NCAA is very stupid from time to time. I read something today where the kid that got hurt for Tennessee State against Vandy, got head trauma, in surgery, touch and go. There were some people that started a GoFundMe to help pay for his medical bills.
Yeah.
And apparently the NCAA has said that could be a violation.
The
guy may never play again. Probably won't play again. Yeah. If I were him, I'd be like, we can handle that violation.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, ban him from a bowl game?
Yeah, was Tennessee State really care about
that?
I mean, we're going to miss out on that recruit nobody's heard of?
The defense said on Tuesday that Under Armour put up $20,000 to push former elite recruit Silvio D'Souza to Maryland, while Arizona was involved to the amount of $150,000 to land Nasir Little, who's there now, I think. No, or is he at Kansas? No, I think D'Souza may be at Kansas now. A projected lottery pick expected to start for North Carolina this season. D'Souza is at Kansas. His eligibility for the upcoming season is uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen with this thing, Justin. We've all known college basketball is like this because it's so much easier and the good players are so easy to identify and is so much more compact, and the one and done allows for agents to be involved more. I mean, it's harder when you're a high school football player to say, because somebody would have easily said, hey, Calvin Ashley, you're a 5-star and we think you're going to be, and he can't crack the starting lineup now. So, you don't want to take a gamble on that guy, but you can take a look at DeAndre Ayton and say, okay, he's 7'1" with a wingspan of 8 feet. Whatever it takes, I want to sign that guy. You can't do it with a high school senior. It's different.
Look, there'll be a couple of little things. There'll be a couple of high-profile things that happen, little minor things that end up being. Nothing will ever come. Nothing will come of this, of a majority. North Carolina cheated for 30 years academically.
That was brutal.
Nothing can happen.
That was brutal.
We can't find anything wrong.
Well, no, they said it because it was available to the other students.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you until 9 o'clock this evening. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. We are talking about, well, a lot of different things going around in the world of sports. College basketball, dealing with the scandal that was, a year ago, I guess, or maybe it was 2 years ago. My goodness, I guess it was a year ago when that broke about with all the four schools, the four guys. That's where it started with Chuck Person and a couple of the other guys, and Mr. Gatto from Adidas, and who was I can't remember. I used to remember the guy's name that was dealing with Chuck Person. He had a funny name too.
He did.
Can't remember what his name was, but
it was like, John Goldchain or something like that.
Yeah, it was Johnny Goomba or something, but.
Johnny Slimeball.
Yeah, that's it. But we'll talk about anything and everything you'd like to talk about. Ruben Peaches is talking about. He'd like to know a lot about basketball. He's a big basketball guy. And,
he's been one. He's come one lately.
Well,
used to couldn't drag him to a basketball game with a come along, and now he can't get over there fast enough. But it's hard to talk about this right now because it's all sort of coming out, and who knows? I mean, who knows what's going to happen here? And as you said during the break, that North Carolina apparently had a class that a one-eyed panda
they've committed academic fraud for
decades.
20 years.
Decades.
And the NCAA just looks the other way.
So one thing we could talk about, though, is the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game.
We can talk about that.
It's maybe my favorite event.
The 40-player roster for the 32nd annual Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game came out this week. Headlining the team, Taulia Tagovailoa and Taulia. What'd I say? Taulia. Taulia,
tomato.
Taulia Tagovailoa and Bo Nix headline the class. We'll talk about some other guys. A lot of guys in here going to major colleges.
Huge, and I mean, it just shows you how loaded the state of Alabama is this year. Maybe not quite as top heavy as it's been in some years, but the depth of the class this year is disgusting. I mean, this is a year that Alabama could really make some hay. Now, but having said that,
make up for it for last year after they got their head handed to them.
On the other side, Mississippi's, they got N'Kobe Dean and Nathan Pickering. I mean, Jaron Handy, who's heading to Brandon Turnage, who's out in Alabama. I mean, it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I mean, but this is kind of how it goes. The team is comprised of 40 seniors selected by the AHSA DCA, All-Star Committee Selection Committee, which has been meeting and studying players nominated for several months. The team must have at least one player chosen from each of the AHSAA's 8 districts and at least one player from each of the 7 AHSAA classifications. 3 players may be chosen from 2 AHSAA member schools, but no more than 2 players may be selected from any other member school.
I don't like that. I mean,
it is. I mean, I understand you want everybody to get involved, but
I mean, I don't like it anymore. And I like if you say the AFC and the NFC, or what do they do in baseball? Another stupid rule. They got to have one rep from every team.
You do have to have one from every team.
That's so stupid. Some teams don't have an all-star.
Needs to be represented.
No, you don't. That goes back to the participation trophy. If you're going to do that, don't make the game mean anything.
It doesn't anymore.
They don't do the home field thing on it anymore?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, okay then.
Well, they finally took my suggestion and quit doing that. But anyway, let's see. Some of the guys, Josh Niblett coaching. He coached in 2009, I believe.
Wonder. Is total speculation. Nobody said anything to me. I don't have any Hoover connections. I just wonder if he goes and gets a college gig somewhere next year. Not maybe as a head coach, maybe as an assistant.
Why? Something.
I just think eventually he's going to have to move up the chain, and I think that's the natural progression.
Some guys are happy and want to spend a 30-year career coaching high school football.
Maybe. I mean, I hope he does. I want him there. I love him there.
Well, I mean,
I'm not trying to
good
start a rumor. I'm just saying.
It'd be good for the rest of 7A.
It would be good. I don't know that it matters necessarily. I mean, yeah, he's a great coach.
Are you going to find another Josh Niblett?
He's a hell of a coach.
Now, granted,
but Hoover would have thought
they would have replaced Probst like that.
So. Hoover will get a good coach.
I don't have any doubt.
Yeah, but they got to get kind of a Hoover guy. I mean, Hoover's They got a machine rolling over
Two
there.
wives?
Huh?
2 wives?
They got a
Hoover guy. I didn't know what you were. Josh.
Hey man, you said that, not me.
Anyway, Sam Adams, he was an assistant from Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. Sean Rainey from Spain Park. Pat Thompson from Sweetwater. Clifford Story Jr. from Lynette. Clinton Smith Jr. from Hillcrest Evergreen. Steve Mask from St. Paul's. Pat Nix from Pinson Valley. That's a good. You got coaches from all over.
I do
place,
like
so
that. I don't mind that. I don't mind the coaches' representation. But I want to beat Mississippi, and I feel like Mississippi wants to beat us.
it doesn't. I would assume Mississippi has the same rules.
But that's what I'm saying, though. If you have 3 guys from Hoover that give us the best chance, yet we have to get somebody from this district in the 1A classification just to go out there and get beaten by Nathan Pickering, I don't like that. This is a competitive game. I understand you want to be representative. I wouldn't mind if they said, okay, we got to have somebody. We got to have at least one dude from 1A, one dude from 7. But now the limitations on schools after that, I don't like. But in the end, it generally doesn't matter because you rarely are going to have, 5 guys from one school making the thing. I understand. I feel like I don't like getting all that pigeon. It feels less like an all-star team to me.
Yeah, I can see your point. Guys going to big-time schools, of course, George Pickens going to Auburn, Javarius Johnson going to Auburn. Some of Alabama's commitments in this game, Christian Williams from Daphne, defensive lineman DJ Dale of Clay Chalkville, offensive lineman Pierce Quick of Hewitt-Trussville, Amari Kite of Thompson, and, of course, the Hoover place skipper, Real Reichard.
And some other guys, Levonta Bentley of Jackson Olin, he's a good linebacker prospect. He's headed to Clemson. Then Ray Thornton of Central Phoenix City also headed to Clemson. Kendall McCallum headed to LSU. He's out of Oxford. They've had a good run of linebackers there at Oxford. Brandon Mack of Jeff Davis is headed to Pittsburgh. That's an interesting landing spot for him. Ladarius Cox going to Tennessee. Chicardo Pearson of Montgomery is going to Indiana, Montgomery Catholic. Defensive lineman Patrick Lucas of Wetumpka is going to Ole Miss. BRHS will be playing them Wetumpka a little bit later on. And Amonte Faison of, I think it's Amonte Spivey of Central Phoenix City. He's headed to Arkansas. And Triquezy Bridges of Lynette's going to Oregon.
Wow. From Lynette to Oregon, that's a
hike,
big trip, man.
That's a hike. But, I applaud him because, you're going out to a whole nother part of the country. I think it's going to change his life.
What position does he play?
He's an athlete. I think he'll be defensive back, but I think he can play, just about anything.
We're going to get another break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Couple of notes. Jeremy Kelly says, can Bill Clark come to Auburn soon? Ruben said, talking about Niblett, he'll take Bill Clark's job when Bill moves on. I don't know about that. That's a big jump. They've tried that before. Notre Dame did with Jerry Faust.
I went to some games when Tommy Joe Eagles was coaching.
Oh, I did too. I loved going there when Tommy Joe Eagles was coaching. God, he was bad.
I actually called him on the phone one night.
Really?
His phone number was in the book. Talk about that's like 1990 or 89. Back then, a head basketball coach would put his name in the phone book. How times have changed.
Yes.
And I'm probably one of the reasons they don't do it anymore. God bless Tommy Joe as he's passed on.
He did. He's been gone a while.
He's been gone a long time.
He's been gone so long you don't feel real guilty saying he's dead. You don't say. You say somebody's passed when, like they.
That happened last week. Yeah.
When they've been dead more than a decade, I think you just say dead, right?
That's true. That's probably true.
Anybody disagree with how Put it on the poll. How long do you have to wait until you can just say somebody's dead instead of they passed? A year? Year seems like it could still be an open wound.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5 years.
5 years dead?
Yeah.
What do you do at year 4, though? You don't say passed. I say moved on.
No longer with us?
No longer with us. or you just say their name and then God rest their soul?
Yeah, that's right.
So much easier just to say dead, though. I mean, it's not really disrespectful.
Well, it's true. I mean, I don't know. Not exactly much tact with it, I guess. I don't know.
And it's such a struggle for us to be nice about stuff like that. Like
Mosley said, it depends on who it is.
Well, you don't say like George Washington's moved on; he's no longer with us.
Well, I mean, it's like
George
you're talking about
Washington's
Hitler.
dead.
That son of a is dead.
Well, he's dead as a hammer. You got to put some adjectives in there for him.
That guy's worm food. You can go there with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can be disrespectful with him. He was the worst.
That guy was not nice. Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for about an hour and a half longer. Some local teams in high school ranks. Benjamin Russell drops to 3-3. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They go to 4-2 as they beat Chilton County. I forgot to update the score, and I had it in my head. But anyway, they did, one on homecoming against former Benjamin Russell coach Tal Morrison. Got it done 23-13 over Chilton County. They'll take on the Opelika Bulldogs. Opelika Bulldogs 1-4 on the season after winning 9 games a year ago, but every team they've lost to ain't bad. That's going to be tough for the Wildcats against Opelika.
I mean, I think Opelika's going to win. I picked Opelika to win. I mean, look, I'm a Lake City guy, BRHS guy, but I picked Opelika to win that game. I feel like they got to be the best 1-4 team in the state, whatever that means. I mean, you don't get a trophy for it, but they're going to take this out on somebody. Opelika is just too talented.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Dadeville, they fall to 2-4, falling to Elmore County. I'm sure we'll get a call tonight about Elmore County's big win over Dadeville, 14-7. They'll take on the Montgomery Academy Eagles next week. Montgomery Academy 3-3 on the year. That's at Montgomery Academy. Dadeville again. They're holding their own, it seems like, but they just don't seem to have enough to get over the hump.
Yeah, Montgomery Academy is not a bad team. I picked Montgomery Academy. I went anti-local for the most part.
I did as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right there with me. You can get in trouble doing that sometimes.
Well, you can. I haven't, I don't think I don't hear about it when I pick against somebody. But if I'm right, I usually take solace with that. Horseshoe Bend, they're 1-5 if they drop the game to Lochapoka 14-0. Horseshoe Bend, the offense seems to be the biggest problem. Been shut out 3 times this year. Only scored 8 points against Dadeville. So outside of a win over Central Coosa, the offense seems to be struggling.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot against Fayetteville coming up in a couple of weeks, and then of course Prattville Christian. I think those are a couple of games that are winnable though.
They get a good week off, probably at a good time here this week. Central Coosa. They are now 0-5 as they fall to Walter Welborn 44-0. They'll take on the Vincent Yellow Jackets this week at home. Vincent's only 1-4. They were 5-5 last year, but it's just we say this every week. But I feel for the kids. I appreciate their effort. I appreciate them being in there.
It's tough going.
It is when you only got that many. You don't even have enough to have a full 2-squad team. Then you take your hat off.
I'm not going to pretend to be a Coosa County insider, but what I'm hoping is they've got a young team that can build off of this for the future.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's 17, 18 seniors on the squad, and that's the squad, I mean, they're going to be going through a lot of this next year. But if it's a young team, you take some of these as building blocks.
Yeah, hopefully they can do that. Reeltown continues to play extremely well. They got their first loss to Maplesville last week. No shame in losing to Maplesville.
We got a caller on line, too. Let's go ahead and take that, Andy. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening. This is John down in Lake Martin. Just wondering about a couple of high school quarterbacks.
Okay.
One in Trussville, I think, is Bear Bryant's grandson, and then two, his brother in Tuscaloosa. Have y'all had a chance to see them and how they look?
Yeah, I've actually seen Talia Tungavailoa in the Champions Challenge, and then I've watched him and seen a lot of his highlights. He's amazing. He's very, very good. He is not quite as nimble as Tua is, and he's a right-hander versus a left-hander, but he has got an incredibly strong arm. He seems to be very, very accurate. I mean, is he as accurate as Tua is? I've never seen a quarterback at Alabama as accurate as Tua is.
I was just fixing to say, who is?
Yeah, and then Paul Tyson, he's also very good. He's surprisingly good. I only say that in the sense that when you see him, it doesn't scream athlete to you, but he puts the ball on the money. He has got a fun team all around him. He throws to an Auburn commitment and to an Alabama commitment. He's got a fantastic offensive line, and he's got a really strong running game to back him up.
And he beat Hoover like a drum.
He played really well against Hoover. Both those guys, I think, will be in the mix for when Tua, leaves Alabama. But right now, it's like my friend Jimmy Stein said, I think we're in the Tungavailoa era of Alabama for the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Great. Well, listen, what year are each one of those quarterbacks, do you know?
They're both seniors.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So they'll both be coming out at the same time.
Yeah, and so they'll both be at Alabama next year. I would suspect that both of them are going to try and enroll early. That's my guess. I don't know that to be 100%, but I would suspect that's going to be the case. So they could be, at Alabama as early as January.
Guys, listen, I appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, those two, Alabama, the rich get richer, it seems like. But, you run into the same kind of problem. You get that much talent. Somebody's sitting on the bench all the time.
Let me tell you what I learned this week. And, if you watched the Bama Blitz earlier, or if you listen to the Talking Tuscaloosa podcast that Jimmy Stein and I do, I am singing the praises of Tua Tungavailoa from the mountaintop. I'm talking like Auburn fan thinks all Alabama fans talk like all the time. That we're always the best, but I'm trying to be real about a lot of these things. I understand, while C.J. Mosley's and your Dante Hightowers have been good players, they're not Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas, while some of these receivers have been good, they're not David Palmer. But Tua Tungavailoa is the best quarterback I've ever seen at Alabama. I say that very confidently after seeing him for the last 5.5 games. And I say that having seen him in practice. I've never seen a quarterback like him at Alabama. I'm only 45 years old, only been keeping up with Alabama for 35 of those years, really feverishly, but I've never seen one like him. I've seen some good quarterbacks. I've never seen one like this. And he's just amazing. But so this has made me appreciate this week is Jalen Hurts. And having seen what Clemson went through and the way Jalen has handled this thing from start to finish, what an unbelievable kid. And I'm hoping, and I know this is futile, I hope he stays at Alabama and finishes at Alabama. He stays next year and is like, I just like winning. I just want to be here. We got something special. I love Tua. They seem to have a great relationship, Tua and Jalen do. But I understand he's probably going to transfer, and I totally get that. Wherever he goes, I'm going to cheer for that kid. He is a legend in my mind. I hope he gets, if Alabama wins a national championship this year, I hope he gets to put handprints near Denny Chimes. I don't care. Jalen Hurts deserves all the praise he's getting. And somehow, some way, Tua today was at the press conference. He finally got to speak to the media at one of these press conferences, and he praised Jalen Hurts even more, which made me love Tua even more. If I could just hug them both right now, Andy.
I want to get out of the way. Look, yeah, I agree. I mean, the way that he's handled it, I think has been he's been a good teammate, and that you just don't, and you see that less and less of today, and it is refreshing to see it.
It's so easy to go the other way, and what's amazing about this is if you had thought the Clemson situation would be the Alabama situation because of the coaches, you'd think that Nick Saban, who's not necessarily the most nurturing, at least in the public's eye, and Dabo Sweeney, who is buddy players coach, and it actually both of the situations are flip flopped, and it's a bizarre.
Now,
thing.
having said that, I don't blame Kelly Bryant for leaving.
I don't blame him one bit either, but I have to say this, that I do blame him in the sense of if I were one of his teammates, I would sort of think, okay, Kelly, what you could have done is gone to coach and say, Coach, in a pinch, I'll come in if he's out for good or whatever, but otherwise, just don't play me. I can stay here, get my ring if we win or do whatever. And maybe you're thinking, well, you're just taking reps from the backup and you're doing this. I think it would have worked out better for everybody that way.
We're up against a break. Love to know what you think. 256-234-6221. We'll be back with more right after this.
But
I thought he earned the job by winning on the road at Texas A&M, and then he decides to pull the rug out from him. You could tell. I mean, everybody in the world could look and say, Alabama's going to lose if they don't replace Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but I think that they had the same situation, Andy. I do. We have not seen how good this Trevor Lawrence kid is.
That's fine, but I mean, it wasn't. Well, okay.
You're right. And look, here's the thing. Had Clemson stuck with Kelly Bryant, here's exactly the way I think this goes down. I think that they still stroll through the ACC because ACC's bunk, right? And the only threats they have left on their schedule, they got NC State. They're at Wake this weekend. They're 17-point favorite. South Carolina,
yeah,
but they got them at home. Miami in the championship game. So they probably stroll through all those, right? But then they get in the playoffs and they got the same problem they had last year where Alabama just stifled them.
Yeah.
But if you got Trevor Lawrence throwing to Justin Ross, who's been dynamic, all of a sudden you've got a different animal. And you got ATN who just ate Syracuse up towards the end. I think it makes a difference. So if it has to be done eventually, it has to be done immediately, right?
Yeah. Well, you see the mess they got in Saturday because of it.
True. I'll say this, though. I think the mess would have been there. I wonder if
what do they do if Kelly Bryant starts that game?
Now,
granted, he went to Syracuse and lost last year. But
I think that they are in the same mess. Syracuse just seems to have their number. Syracuse has sort of an Ole Miss Alabama thing about them on Clemson right now.
Yeah.
And Syracuse isn't bad. Syracuse is undefeated. I mean, there's not a lot of shame in it. 11 o'clock game, Those 11 o'clock games are so bad for the favorites, apparently. But yes, I think they had to do that. Have you seen his hair? It's delightful.
And Lawrence?
Yeah.
Only in the back of his head.
What is
he ain't got anything on Sal Cannella.
Oh, yeah, he does. Because he plays.
Well, he plays now.
Oh, he was playing before.
Cannella caught 2 passes Saturday. Watch out.
On purpose?
It was ricochet.
I like that Syracuse quarterback, Mosley. Dino Babers, you want to talk about a player's coach, he'll get down there and have just a dance-off. He'll have a breakdance contest after a game.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for about 20 more minutes in the first hour of tonight's show. Alabama defeats Louisiana 56-14. Again, you look down through and Alabama gives up 200 yards rushing. It's just odd to see. But it's second and third teamers because you're up 49-0 at the half.
Well, I looked up something, Andy, and for those there are people, Look, if you want to complain about the kicking game, man, go for it. If we missed a 24-yarder and a 30-something yarder, go. I'm with you. I don't know what to do. We're near an Indian burial ground or something. It's awful. But I did some stats. I talked about this on the Bama Blitz. In the first quarter this year, Alabama scored 103 points. Mm-hmm. In the second quarter, 94 points. So that's when Tua's in the game most of the time. Third quarter, 57 points. That's when you have some Tua, Jalen transition. And in the fourth quarter, we've scored 17 total points. On defense, we have given up 14 points in the first quarter this year, and one of them was on the first play of the game in a busted coverage against Ole Miss. We've given up 6 points in the second quarter all year. Given up 17 all year in the third, 28 all year in the fourth. The 28 is not bad. It's just it skews the rest of the numbers.
Yeah.
And then the rushing thing, yeah, I mean, you had some guys playing late.
That was the secret. The only way to get Alabama to play worse defense was to get a better offense.
Right. That's it.
And I mean that now they're averaging 56 points a game and about.
It's the best offense I've ever seen Alabama have. I know you could go back to '89 and say that Gary Hollingsworth and Saran Stacy and
hey, no,
it's not even the area code.
No,
not even the area code. This is. I mean, you can talk about even with Alabama at one time had T.J. Yeldon, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, and Kenyon Drake on the same team. They're all NFL starters right now, and that offense wasn't this offense.
No, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, the quarterback goes 8 for 8, and then goes has and seat.
And then you could make the argument the best wide receiver on the team is a true freshman now in Jalen Waddle. That guy is dynamic. He's everything I heard he was going to be, but I take a lot of this recruiting stuff with a grain of salt sometimes. Is okay, everybody's an all-star, everybody's whatever. I mean, but everybody in practice was saying how this guy's showing out every single day. They said the same thing about Tua, and then look what happened. And Waddle's pretty doggone special.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and they don't. The running stats are not as impressive again, but when you're throwing the ball for 350 yards, and you got 4 guys that are touching the ball, and they're each running for about 50 to 75 yards, and it doesn't seem like anybody's real. Maybe they are behind the scenes, but nobody's. I didn't even think Damian Harris played in this game, right?
No, he played, but I mean, I think Damian Harris sort of talked to coach and said, "Look, I want to come back. I mean, I could go pro, probably be a 3rd, 4th rounder, whatever. But I can come back, probably be a 1st rounder, but I don't want to be used up." And Saban's like, "No problem." Yeah. I mean, that's my theory because Damian has actually used the term, "I'm going to have a lot of tread left on my tires." That's one thing that running backs get worried about. You're talking about a blast from the past. We just got a post from Mama Ellis.
I saw that, yeah.
Mama Ellis, which has been closed for, 5 years.
At least.
Pretty good Auburn stats. The Auburn football defense leads the nation in points allowed per drive at 0.87 points per drive. Alabama is second at 0.94 points per drive. And the Auburn football defense has allowed 5 TDs this season, fewest in the country. I mean, that's
the best thing about Auburn's team.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any question about that.
I mean, look, the Auburn defense is not bad. I don't know anybody said they were.
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Alabama Cadets 7 of 9 on 3rd down. I mean, I don't know what Saban says that there's always things to work on, and I'm sure that he can find it. But 608 yards. Hey, again, it's Louisiana. I mean, look, they're 1-3. They're no good, but still.
Yeah.
608 yards.
Well, not only
Southern Miss is not that great either.
608 yards, and it could have been 806 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, if they wanted to, they just. You talk about taking your foot off the gas. I mean, Saban's putting the car in park, and sometimes you just can't keep guys from doing what they're doing. Jeremy Kelly says, "Did you notice how former Alabama QB David Smith was the head ref in the Auburn Southern Miss game?" I didn't notice that, but I knew he was a ref.
Yeah,
and
he's done several of them.
And I assume, in fact, I heard today, Gus Malzahn said something like, I don't know, maybe this isn't verbatim, but what's everybody so upset about? We're 4-1 and a bad call away from being 5-0. And I was thinking, even Gus Malzahn's going to bring the refs into this thing. I mean, look, I don't mind if Auburn fans got a problem with a former Alabama quarterback who's been gone since David Smith was quarterback in '88. I mean, I don't know that it matters. I mean, if you're a referee, you got to be pretty vetted to get through to be an official. Certainly, I can tell you this.
Well, he wasn't the guy in the LSU game.
No, but I can tell you this, and I know Rocky Good, a friend of my friend is his buddy and yada, yada, yada. But he's a big Tennessee guy. And, I mean, Rocky Good was SEC official forever.
Yeah.
I just look at it like I think you got to be professional sometimes. It's sort of like, Bill Oliver's a big Alabama guy, but he went to coach at Auburn because you know why? That money talks. Taylor Hicks.
And he hated Gene Stallings.
Taylor Hicks is a friend of mine, went to school at Auburn. And everybody thinks he's the biggest he's a big Alabama fan. Huge. But he also knows he doesn't need to alienate.
Don't talk to me.
Doesn't need to alienate
Shouldn't
another
tell
fan
people
base.
that.
Yeah. He doesn't necessarily keep it quiet. He just thought wearing Alabama stuff. It's just like I don't mind an official. If an official from Auburn reffed an Alabama game, I'm fine with it as long as he's vetted. I don't want Brandon Marcello doing it. But if it's just if Pat Nix ended up being an official, I would have to assume they've been through some kind of training for this.
I would assume so. Shannara, why? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, Smith called a good game. I didn't think you were intimating he called a bad game because really there was nothing in that game to call poorly, was there? I mean, 24-13. There's nothing to.
I don't recall. I mean, I didn't. Of course, I didn't watch the second half. I just listened to it on the way home. But anyway, moving on. Auburn defeats Southern Miss 24-13. We just got a couple more minutes left in this, so we'll carry this over to the next segment. It was an ugly game. Auburn's offense just continues. I said this in my column this week. It's time to stop saying Auburn offense is struggling, and it's time to start saying Auburn offense is simply not very good.
I think you're right.
And I'll eat crow when we come back. I'll have a full plate of it, and I will devour it before the live studio audience. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Justin Clayton said Brandon Marcello is about as unbiased a reporter as I've seen. You know what? I will give Marcello credit. I should have said Brian Matthews or
now Brian Matthews.
I should have said
Jason Caldwell.
I mean, he's the first one. Jason Caldwell. Marcello's the first one that popped in. I will say I think Marcello is a pretty good reporter. I do. Or I'll tell you who ain't reffing the Alabama game. That's Philip Marshall. That ain't happening.
I don't think Philip could run up down the field, to be honest with you.
Philip's got this style where he writes. He asks a lot of questions. He's like, I did a whole column.
He's an inquisitive fellow.
He is an inquisitive guy. Just on a personal note, if y'all hadn't heard the story, somebody else just commented on Facebook about it as well. I'm going to say it. If you hadn't read the story, I've done this for the Alex City Outlook a while back, but I've updated it and put it in B Metro. The story about a former local attorney here who will remain nameless, who one time in his life, I think it was during the 88 or 89 or 87 Super Bowl, a bunch of people from Alex City went to it was in New Orleans, went to New Orleans to the Super Bowl. My dad and this guy and several other guys from Alex City. They went to Brennan's. Brennan's at breakfast at New Orleans, very famous.
Okay.
So they're all hanging out there, and it's slammed. So they all go up to the bar just waiting. And so this unnamed man went downstairs, looked for a maitre d'. He saw a guy standing there in a tuxedo and a rather large person. He said, "Sir, I'm so-and-so," and he had a $5 bill put right there. He said, "I'm so-and-so now. Would you get me a table?" And the guy looked at him like, he said, "Maybe you didn't hear me. Me and my friend Abe need a table." And that guy said, "Get away from me." So he slunk back upstairs and told them about it. And they said, "What's the problem?" And they said, "Man, I don't know what, people just don't value $1 anymore." So they went downstairs to figure out what was going on. He had tried to give Dr. J, Julius Irving, $5 to get him a table at Brennan's.
Dr. J.
And they said, when he could palm a globe, that didn't let you know, hey, this dude may be somebody.
Wow.
And they said after they finally sat down and got to the table, and as they were sitting down, his limo was leaving. They said it stretched as long as the whole restaurant. This was kind of his heyday.
An odd that a 6'8" black guy with hands the size of,
Pretty funny.
A car battery would be a maitre d'.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny. Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Luke and Andy here with you for about 10 more minutes in the first hour of tonight's show. We're talking about Auburn and Southern Miss. That's your number 8 Auburn Tigers.
Jeremy Kelly says, what's the injury status of Whitlow? Maybe he's just bruised his boobie. Well, I do think he had a shoulder issue, and it sounds like he'll be out there. You never know with Gus.
Scott, no, you don't. It looked odd, though. I mean, it wasn't anything. I thought for sure it was a lower. I thought it was an ankle or something.
Well, that was pre-rain delay, and I remember he came off and like his arm was dead.
Yeah,
and he was sort of doing this, or maybe it was his right arm.
But it wasn't a hard hit. I mean, it was just kind of one of those odd
I think
things.
it's like a stinger, or maybe. But a lot of people speculated dislocated shoulder. You're not going to get a straight answer on it, but it sounds like he's out this game. But I'm going to tell you, that's not the issue. I mean, Boobie Whitlow's not a bad running back. He's not bad, but Cam Martin or Asa Martin can be Boobie Whitlow, I think. I mean, maybe Boobie gets better, but I'm just saying I don't feel like his absence. It's not like you're losing Kerryon Johnson right now. The issue is the offensive line. That's where the alpha and the omega. That's a problem.
That is the biggest problem. They don't deserve 100% of the credit, but they deserve about 90% of it. And I said before the show, we did the Auburn preview. I said, I thought J.B. Grimes was a fantastic teacher, and I thought technique was a lot of what Prince Tega struggled with last year. I thought that the guys physically were fine. Horton and Harrell, I saw enough of them last year that I thought that they were going to be fine. Center, I was obviously worried about. Gus talked up Jack Driscoll like he was, oh, yeah, no problem. He's fine. We're surprised how good he is. I thought J.B. Grimes would improve, and they would be fine. It's not technique. We're getting physically beaten, and that's not something that you can coach. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but we are losing the battle. Auburn is losing the battle at the line of scrimmage, and they lost the battle against Southern Miss. And if you think you're going to lose the battle against Southern Miss, and you're going into next week to Mississippi State, who's got as good a defensive line probably as you do.
An upset and desperate Mississippi State team.
I mean, look, Auburn, it's time to start. Yeah, I understand that, and you look back and say, well, Auburn's offense, it started slow in 2013, got better and better and better every week, all the way to an SEC title and the national championship game. In 2014, it started slow and it got better and better and better, but, mistakes and turnovers and bad defense, let 8 and 5. 2016 started slow, exploded about week 4 or 5. Same thing in 2017. Looked terrible to begin with, exploded against Missouri, won 9 of 10 games for the next. I don't think that's going to happen this year. This feels a lot more like 2008 or 2012 when the offense just grinds to a halt. Auburn's got too good of players in the skill positions for that to happen, I hope. But if the offensive line is the building block, that's the foundation. And Auburn's they're building their house on the sand right now. So I don't know what else you can do other than put other guys in there. Give Calvin Ashley a shot, give Tayshaun Manning a shot. Bailey Sharp. I don't know, but you got to do something.
Well, they tried to do some things. They put Austin Troxell in there, and he was beaten
One
so
series.
badly that they said we can't do that again. It's not fair to Jarrett Stidham. No offense to Troxell, he got beat, man. I mean, I'm not speaking out of school. The video speaks for itself. But the biggest problem is this has been building up. You could see this coming, and you wonder how much did Kerryon Johnson make up for the lack of production in the offensive line last year. Kerryon Johnson's doing pretty well in the pros right now, and not behind the best offensive line in the NFL there either. I think he can make up for some issues because he's very patient. he's elusive and just fast enough. He's a tough runner too. So, but now you don't have that guy.
And he's got tremendous vision.
Yeah, he does.
He just can find the hole. He's patient, and that first quick step to avoid that initial guy, which seems to be Auburn's biggest problem. Every play, there's at least one guy that's unblocked that you got to avoid in the backfield.
Well, and now you start playing around with that line so much, you don't have chemistry, and then you got a quarterback who
we don't have chemistry now.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying that it can snowball on you.
Yeah.
And then you've got a quarterback who he's sort of falling back on some of his old ways. Stidham, and here's the other thing: Auburn seems to have essentially two types of play: a bubble screen or heave it deep. I hadn't seen the intermediate pass yet.
No, we've thrown about 2 this year, and both of them were caught for big gains, but we don't want to do that.
Why
We're
would you
saving
do
that for y'all.
Yeah. But I'm looking back through some of Auburn's offense. I mean, last year Auburn signed 2 offensive linemen, both 3 stars. Then the year before that, you'd think they had a great offensive line haul. Well, you had Calvin Ashley, who sometimes 5 stars just don't work out. And
he's just a redshirt freshman, so give him the time.
Well, I'm going to give him some time. At the same time, I'm going to say if you're a 5-star and you're a redshirt freshman and you can't break the starting lineup with this crew you've got, that's a problem.
I get it.
Nick Brahms, he's not
4-star.
Not bad. Austin Troxel.
No, he's bad. He got blown up a lot. He was on his back a lot.
Oh, I'm thinking. Well, who am I thinking of? Who? Because you wanted Brahms back, right?
Now I wanted Brahms instead of Kim. He's getting blown up less than Kim, but still he's getting blown up.
Okay. Austin Troxel, who, the problem with him is he had 2 big knee problems. Yeah. And we also talked about this. Caleb Brooks and I talked about this. Maybe Kerryon and Malik Miller made him look a little better than he was in high school. He's in 3A ball. He's bigger than everybody else. Maybe a little easier to block people there.
Don't recruiting analysts take that into account?
Look, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you look at somebody and say, "Hey, I've seen him. He's big, and you can mold this guy into this."
Yeah.
And I'm looking for more offensive linemen. That's the other thing. Auburn doesn't sign a lot of them.
No, 2006, 2015, I think was the big class where we signed about 4 or 5 guys, and I think it was like 3 4-stars and 2 3-stars. That was the Markel Harrell, Mike Horton, Bailey Sharp, Tyler Carr.
Well, you said
those guys.
First of all, you signed Prince Tega, but you signed him as a defensive end. He moved him to offensive line, and this is a guy that played football for 1 year.
I know.
And he also graduated early. I'm looking down the list now. Markel Harrell again, Tyler Carr, who's now left the team, Caleb Kim, who you mentioned has been getting blown up. Bailey Sharp.
But again, Caleb Kim 4-star, Tyler Carr 4-star, Bailey Sharp 4-star. Again, I don't know what else to say. Either our evaluation is bad or somebody else's is bad.
I think it's a little bit of column A, little bit of column A, little bit of column B. Look, recruiting is not an exact science. The NFL draft isn't an exact science. There is no exact science in sports. So, sometimes a 4-star misses. It doesn't mean the whole system's bad, but it does look like Auburn's misses, especially on the offensive line, are worse than other people's misses. And I think part of it is you've got to sign quantity. You can, that's a lot of these teams like your Texas Techs, like your Oregons, they fall in love with these skill guys, and that's great. And they do. They light up the scoreboard. But if you don't have an offensive line, once you go against a defensive line, they're going to blow you up.
Well, that's another thing, too. Auburn has loaded up on defensive linemen the last 3 or 4 years. And it's worked great. We've actually got a defense now. We finally got the smash mouth, smothering defense that I've been longing for 5 years, and now the offense stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, but look, the good news is
there's good news. Please tell me.
Well, the good news is I do think this week is a chance to get whole. I am picking Auburn to win this game. I see it being like a 3-2 kind of game, but I'm picking Auburn to win because I watched Mississippi State play Florida the other night.
Not good.
Wow. I am amazed at how bad they are offensively.
We're up against the break, but don't go anywhere. Never fear. Hour number 2 of Sports Blitz is on the way right after this. Excuse me.
Jeremy Kelly says, don't understand what the issue is with Malik Miller. He runs very hard every time he is in the game. I would also say usually when he's in the game, he's usually against guys that probably aren't starting the game. So,
well, at this point, we don't have a guy that can pick up a blitzer. And if Malik Miller can do that, he's better than anybody that's out there.
I'm with you on that. And I also think, if I were Gus, my argument would be, well, he's not the fastest guy. Oh, no, he's not the fastest. He's probably the slowest running back to have, I guess. But if I'm an Auburn fan, I would say, you know what? We need somebody just to get us some tough yards. Because Booby is fast, but he's not super fast.
I'm at the point now where I'm putting Malik Miller in the I formation and put Chandler Cox at fullback instead of H-back. Let's see if we can do anything.
I want y'all to put Chandler Cox back there at quarterback. It works out so well.
At this when Jarrett Stidham goes down, that may be our next option.
But I'll tell you something. This is another thing that got me. Rob Pate, who usually writes a pretty good article and pretty level-headed, he said there's not 1 ounce of him that believes Jarrett Stidham is the best quarterback in this league.
Who said that?
Rob Pate. And I'm thinking, I would take Jake Fromm. I'd take Tua, obviously. I would take Locke. I still love Bentley. Bentley's had some problems. Yeah. I feel like a lot of his are offensive line generated.
I wouldn't take Bentley over
Stidham. I'll tell you what, I think Auburn would be better with a Bentley behind this line than a Stidham behind this line.
Bentley would not. He would.
With a good line, I like Stidham better, huh?
He would be dead.
No, he's a better scrambler than Stidham.
Yeah, but he's not big enough. He
might be dead though. You might be right.
He would no longer be with us.
Do you think high school recruits are interested in going somewhere there is an obvious need, or more interested in going somewhere to premier programs? I think it's case by case, but I'll tell you what I think some of these people overvalue is playing time. Like, for instance, you look at Auburn and say, man, we could have offensive linemen step right in. I think kids are wired a little differently right now, and they want some competition. I think you want a kid that wants competition. And so if you feel like, I'm just going to hand you the job, I think that generally sets a bad precedent. Look back at how many times somebody's been promised something in recruiting. Lane Kiffin used to do that all the time.
Look, Auburn
Rock
in
Thomas.
2000, what was it, 2005, or maybe it was I can't remember. When you had, the Ryan Pugh and the Lee Zimba and Chaz Ramsey, and there was one
Chop
more
block
guy.
Chaz Ramsey.
That's him. But they had 4 freshmen, and they all started, as true freshmen. And it didn't. We took our lumps, but we played, fairly well. But they got better. By the end of time they were seniors, we were.
Well, Pugh was
great.
Pretty highly decorated. Zimba was.
I'm not saying they weren't. I'm just saying throwing young guys out there, it can work both ways.
Well, it can work, and also when you're blocking for Kelly and Ronnie Brown, it helps too.
This is true. Well, you get a big, mean offensive line. I look good in the running back.
Yeah, but if you already have a good running back.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for one more hour in tonight's show. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind, 256-234-6221. Alabama will take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Nick Saban said it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap game. I look down through here, and
it's a trap. Already.
Somehow this does not look like a good matchup. Now, I will tell you, I believe, look, Saban, of course, he says this because, this is just who he is. Alabama is the number 1 offense in the SEC. Arkansas is the dead last offense in the SEC.
Seems like that could be a problem on Saturday.
Alabama is 5th in the SEC with 217 yards rushing a game. Arkansas is dead last at 141 yards rushing per game.
Seems like it could be a problem.
Alabama is the number 1 pass efficiency offense in the entire country. I've never seen a pass efficiency rating above 200. They actually 226 decimal 54. Arkansas is dead last in the SEC in pass efficiency.
Also seems like it could be a problem.
Alabama scores 52 points per game. That's number 1 in the country, number 1 in the SEC.
54 points, man.
I said 54.
You said 52.
Well, 54.2.
Okay.
Arkansas scores 23.8. That's dead last in the SEC. Alabama's 59.7% on third down conversion. That's number 1 in the SEC, number 2 in the country. Arkansas is 29.3% on third down. That's dead last in the SEC, 124th in the country. Alabama has lost 4 turnovers all year long in 5 games. That's good for 4th in the SEC, 17th in the country. Arkansas has lost 11 turnovers this year. That's dead last in the SEC, 112th in the country. Shall I go on?
No, I think we've got it covered.
That's just the offenses.
Now, see, yeah, this is going to be a problem. But this goes back to scheduling stuff. You know, just because Arkansas is in the SEC, you know, it's funny. Like, I think Arkansas State would beat Arkansas. But Alabama's going to get more credit for beating Arkansas versus Arkansas State. I think Arkansas State may beat Arkansas by double digits.
Well, look, Arkansas, they're not – I mean, they're trying. They're putting in effort. They're playing hard for Chad Morris. You know, they played – I think actually that 30-point loss to Auburn actually gave them some confidence because they think, you know,
they had some stuff.
I mean, you know, we played fairly well in that game. And then that buoyed them on to play even better against Texas A&M. And they think, hey, man, we had the ball. We were driving. We were at midfield. We could have won that game. So I understand and say, look, you know, Arkansas is not as absolutely horrific as maybe we thought they were going to be. They're not good. They're 1-4 and 0-2 in the league. But don't tell me this is a trap game.
No, it's not. But I mean, what is Saban supposed to say? I'm going to go up there and beat the crap.
We're going to go up there. Arkansas has done a great. Chad Morris done a great job.
No, I think this, and he's got to keep this team focused. Yeah. I mean, look, Alabama's going to be so much more talented, and I'm including LSU and Auburn until they get, assuming they get to the SEC championship game. Alabama's a lot more talented whoever they play. You have got to keep these guys focused because if you lose focus in this league, somebody like an LSU and Auburn can trip you up. Now, those are the only 2 teams that I think on Alabama's regular season schedule that could give Alabama a game. I don't think Mississippi State can do it. Tennessee cannot do it. If Arkansas and Tennessee played this year, that would be a ticket worth buying. I honestly believe it'd be
a good game.
I think it'd be – I don't know about a good game. It would be a game worth seeing.
I just mean it'd be close.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, Auburn has Mississippi State on the road in Starkville. As you mentioned, Mississippi State has got to be desperate. They are now 0-2 in the league, and if they go 0-3, clearly they're everything. I mean, you know, this may go down the toilet.
Joe Moorhead will quickly be on that hot seat.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Losing that game, you know.
Lock of the year.
I said that was lock of the year. When I'm wrong, I am wrong. Man, I wasn't just wrong. I was, wow.
I would agree with you. I thought there's no way. I mean, they will be fired up. Florida's not that good.
No, Felipe Franks is going to come in there and beat Starkville with Mississippi State's old coach on a revenge game.
Coach Joe Moorhead. He gave him a lesson in that.
Oh, my God. And I'm going to tell you something. I think Florida can beat LSU this week.
It's possible.
Do I want them to?
I'm hoping Ed goes undefeated now. I mean, can you imagine him in the national title, the playoff?
Jeez, it would be so. I think he'd be the kind of coach that we can't wait to get this game in Miami and be like, Coach, they played you in Dallas.
Oh, hey, your tickets refundable. You know, look, I don't know. Auburn's got to be feeling a little bit desperate too, and can you work something out? I mean, sooner or later you got to make some adjustments that work just by the law of averages.
Yeah,
I mean, my goodness. So, but again, Auburn's defense is so good this year, and they are. I'm afraid we're going to waste it, but they will keep Auburn in every game. I think they will give Auburn at least a chance, which is going to make it that much more gut wrenching. Because every game is going to be close. But I picked Auburn to win this game too, simply because Mississippi State's that bad offensively right now. Now, Joe Moorhead make the adjustment to make them my greatest fear is they bench Fitzgerald at halftime, and the other kid comes in and throws for 250 yards in the second half.
What happened to Kalen Hill? That guy was running over people,
That's
man.
a good question.
Now, we have found out Kansas State's pretty bad.
They are.
But, I mean, still, it's –
yeah, Mississippi State hadn't beaten anybody, really.
Now I do think they'll be fired up and cowbells ringing. And this actually may be worse for Auburn than had they destroyed Florida, because I think they would be coming off a high. But now they're coming off Joe Moorhead is, I'm telling you, if he loses this game, Mississippi State's going to be bucking for most disappointing team. They're not going to be the worst team because Arkansas and Tennessee are in this league. But they, it's not the worst thing in the world to lose to Kentucky this year. It's not the worst thing in the world to lose to a Dan Mullen coach Florida team. We're going to find that out. Florida's probably going to have some more upsets up their sleeve. But losing 3 in a row when some people had you pegged as the dark horse is going to be a problem.
First team to 17 wins.
I think you got. I really legitimate score here. I say 17-14. I say, wasn't that about the score when Cam Newton went down there and won?
Yeah, I think it was.
So I think 17-14 and Mississippi State on the bad end.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, if Auburn's ever going to find anything, this would be the one to do it. I don't think Nick Fitzgerald can beat Auburn throwing the football.
Now, their backup, who played in the first game, looked pretty good.
Threw about 300 yards.
I'm not sure who it is. It's not still Wayne Madkin.
It's his son. But anyway, we'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live. We'll turn our attention to the rest of the SEC when we come back with more right after this.
I'm going to look up their backup. I can't remember his name, but he had a great game. You okay?
Oh, yeah.
I need to see depth chart, not roster. Let's see. Well, was it? Oh man, they got Logan Burnett from Pelham on the team still. Huh? Keaton Thompson. That's who it was.
Okay.
I mean,
was he the guy that came in for Fitzgerald last year against Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Brought him back?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win, but.
I'm looking at their board a little bit to get a sense. Luke Getsy tonight on MSU's offense. I don't know who Luke Getsy is. We're not wavering. It's important when you face this little bit of adversity we have right now that we stick to our plan, that we stay true to the culture, and we're trying to sit here. By no means are we in any kind of panic mode.
A translation, we're in panic mode.
That is, if you use panic mode in a sentence. They are not happy people right now over there.
That's the Leslie Nielsen in front of the fireworks. There's nothing to see here. Move on.
On October 1st, somebody said, a friend of mine texted me a day and said there was an altercation between Joe Moorhead and Kalen Hill in the second half of Saturday's game. Hill was restrained by other coaches. And somebody said that was a fake Twitter account.
Thompson is MSU quarterback. Toadman Kirk said.
What now?
That's Keaton Thompson.
Keaton Thompson.
Yeah.
Let's check out Mississippi State's schedule. They started out 3-0 on top of the world. Now 0-2 in the conference. They lose this. They're 0-3 in the conference going into the bye week. Come back at LSU, A&M at home. And then La Tech and Bama. Good luck, bro.
Yeah, you could
be no bowl.
You could lose five straight.
You better get this win.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live on this Tuesday evening. Andy and Luke here with you for about 45 minutes in tonight's show. Looking around the SEC this past week, Tennessee goes to Athens and loses 38-12. but apparently it was enough to get Jeremy a little emotional.
Yeah.
Because the Volunteers didn't quit.
Yeah. That had reeked of 5-star heart, didn't it? I mean, look, I like Jeremy, and I feel like, though, and this is a job he couldn't turn down. I get it. But sometimes you move up so quickly in something like this, and it can backfire because, I mean, Tennessee was in such bad shape. I still think they're a dumpster fire. I still think they're the worst team in the league. If Arkansas played them, it would be a coin toss, but I'd probably favor Arkansas unbelievably.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I know. It's a tough call, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's what they pay the big bucks for this analysis.
You're splitting turds there. Ole Miss travels to LSU. I thought this might be a little bit closer game, but LSU runs away with it in a rainy night in Baton Rouge, 45-16. Ole Miss, those receivers starting to get a little banged up for Ole Miss.
Get a little banged up,
and that's really all they got. This is the worst defense I've ever seen in the history of the SEC.
Porous. And
they give porous a bad name. I mean, that just
they are literally Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get any better. I thought that they had a chance to upset somebody because their quarterback does sling it all over the yard. I knew they'd give up a lot of points, but now you got everybody kind of frustrated. And once you get one of those receivers frustrated, the rest of them sort of follow suit. And I feel like they're in for a world of hurt.
South Carolina goes to Kentucky. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. Kentucky takes care of business, 24-10. Jake Bentley, 3 picks in this game. South Carolina turns it over 4 times. Both teams had 11 penalties. An ugly game.
Well, the penalties have been pretty rampant in the SEC in general. Mm-hmm. And maybe officials are just calling a little tighter than they have been. I mean, I know that Alabama's gotten a lot. Auburn's gotten a lot. I mean, it's been – everything's been pretty penalty riddled, but I don't know if I'm for it or against it. I don't think it matters. It hadn't, but I've just noticed it seems like everybody's getting penalized a lot more, especially in the SEC.
It is. I mean, Auburn went from number 2 in the conference last to I think dead last maybe or close to the bottom now. Mark says Auburn will get 300 yards against Ole Miss. If that happens,
if Auburn will get 300 yards in Ole Miss in 3 quarters easily. Going back to Tennessee just for a second, they have a bye week this coming up week, but then they're at Auburn, Bama at home, at South Kakalaki, then Charleston, Kentucky and Missouri at home, and at Vandy. Their over-under for wins was 5.5. They have 2. I think they beat Charleston. That's 3. I don't think they get another win.
That's who? That's Ole Miss?
No, that's Vandy. That's Tennessee. Excuse me, Tennessee. I mean, I don't think they beat Vandy or Missouri or Kentucky, or certainly don't think they beat South Carolina, Bama, or Auburn.
No, gonna be tough.
That's so
2-10.
That would be 3 and 11, 3 and 9, I guess.
Woof, that's a tough first year.
Brutal.
Kentucky travels to Texas A&M College Station. We talked about that.
But now here's the thing: they travel to A&M, then they get a bye week, then they welcome Vandy. Then they're at Missouri, and then Georgia at home. Now, Georgia at home, same day as Alabama at Ole Miss, at LSU.
Right.
So CBS always has a doubleheader then because of the Alabama game. So I think that they could do the Kentucky-Georgia game, then the Alabama-LSU game. One decides the East, one decides the West. That could be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I think game day, let's say everything holds true to form, they beat A&M where they are a 6-point dog or a 5.5-point dog, and then they beat Vandy, which I think everybody thinks they will, and then they're at Missouri. That could be a tricky game, but I say they win it. What if Georgia and Kentucky are both undefeated, or what if Georgia has a loss at LSU, which isn't crazy, and then Kentucky could still lose that game, and if Auburn somehow beats Georgia, Kentucky still represents.
That's true. Now that would be something. High times we're living in. Florida 13, Mississippi State 6. They scored 7 against Kentucky, 6. They've scored 13 points in SEC competition.
Well, they had a sure 100% touchdown that probably fires up the crowd at the beginning of the third quarter, hit the receiver dead in stride on the 5-yard line, waltzes in, and I'm talking about you don't see drops like that in college football much.
You do it at Mississippi State.
I think that kid played at Hoover, too, if memory serves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for the second straight week, they've had 200 total yards in the game. So, I mean, if it's possible, their offense is worse than Auburn's right now. At least Auburn's getting 350 yards.
Yep.
So, at least there's something.
It is. It's bad.
And Auburn will be the best defense they played by far.
True.
So,
it's, Mississippi night game, all that stuff. Well, Florida played them at night.
yeah, I mean, come on. That's a little bit overrated.
I agree.
Arkansas 17 versus Texas A&M 24. This game went back for. Did Texas A&M not play that well, or did Arkansas rise up?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, A&M, coming off kind of a Bama beatdown, and probably waltzing into this game knowing they're a 20-point favorite, and probably didn't take it quite as seriously. That's why some face masks had to get jerked.
Well, see, he didn't jerk it. He just grabbed it.
There's a lot of ways to say that better than the way he said
it. Tennessee State 27, Vanderbilt 31. Vandy had 550 yards in this game, and somehow Tennessee State hangs around. And
yep.
I mean, this game could have gone either way.
Certainly could have.
I don't know what Vandy's deal is. I don't know. I mean, I know they're not very good. I guess they're Vandy, and they're always going to be Vandy. Is that right? Is that what we're saying?
Nailed it. Say no more.
Oh well. As I mentioned, Alabama at Arkansas, Missouri's at South Carolina this week.
I
guess had the week off.
And South Carolina's like a 2-point favorite. I like South Carolina in this game, but I'm not in love with South Carolina in this game. I was forced to choose South Carolina to win the East because you were forced to pick Auburn to win the West, and so we wanted to go a little differently on some of these things. But
I immediately regret that decision.
I immediately regret it. I'm sorry. We should have gone with what we thought.
We should have.
And I thought Alabama, Georgia, but I'm going to tell you something. I was a little higher on Kentucky than most people. And I feel like Kentucky, they can make some moves here. They can. That at Missouri game is the one I would circle. I mean, I think they can beat A&M this week. I really do. I think that Kentucky's kind of tough, got a different mindset about them than they by week. Vandy at home, but they're going to be looking forward to that Georgia game. And at Missouri, I'm afraid they trip up. That's what worries me. I want them to be undefeated and have that Georgia game. So I feel like the atmosphere would be so cool, and they deserve it.
Yeah. Jeremy says Tennessee State had former Florida quarterback Treon Harris as a wide receiver.
They did.
Who was at Kent State's got Woody Barrett at quarterback.
Yep. And Auburn plays Kent State next year.
Interesting. Seeing former SEC players littered around everywhere.
They are. They're everywhere.
Mitchell, who dropped the third quarter pass, is from Florida in high school.
Now, wait, I thought it was I'm going to have to look this up now because I was pretty sure that it was Johnson that dropped that pass for Mississippi State.
Toolman says it was Mitchell.
Okay.
And he'll fight you to the death.
I'm going to find out. Mississippi State.
We will investigate that during this break, and we will be back and let you know because we know how important it is to you. More to come on Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hang with me, Tool Man. This is. I mean, it's pretty specific to me for me to try and find this.
Yeah, I don't even know where you would look.
It was Mitchell. You're absolutely right, Tool Man.
Said
the only true great pass that Fitzgerald did throw tonight fell out of Osiris Mitchell's hands as he was headed towards the end zone. I thought I saw Johnson on the back of his. Man, I now got to be sure I'm right about that. Tool Man, again, you are the man among boys. Nick Fitzgerald completed 11 of 26 passes, ran the ball 20 times for 32 yards.
That's kind of below average. How about let me have a swallow of that tea there.
Boy, that ball did hit him right in the hands, though. God almighty.
It did.
And I was pulling for him. I mean, not that I
Why?
care. Well, because they kind of, I mean, he did kind of, I mean, he didn't do him wrong. We all get it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you know, throw him a bone. Let him.
Apparently, they don't want it.
Shows what I know. That kid's not even on the team anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is. I was thinking of Justin Johnson from Northview, but that's not the one I was. I mean, I had the right name and wrong person and wrong time in the game. But other than that, I was dead on. Oh, we got to talk about this McSorley thing.
What about the play?
God,
Final
so,
play?
I mean, you talk about overthinking it.
Penn State just gagged like a maggot.
I mean,
man.
like ESPN's, win prediction thing had them at 96% with 7 minutes to go in the game.
I think it did last year too.
I mean, my God, man. I mean, but I got to give what's his name credit. He said after he said, "Look, we're a great program. We're not an elite program right now."
Franklin said
Yeah.
that. Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for about 30 more minutes in tonight's show. The Rockies up 1-0 on the Chicago Cubs. They're in Wrigley. It's the bottom of 4, 2 outs. Let's see, with Almora Jr. at the plate. Cubs and Rockies, who do you like tonight, Luke?
Oh boy, I just kept splitting hairs. I can't even.
Rockies are up by 1. Can the Cubs are on? They're not playing real well.
So if the Cubs lose, they're done.
Yeah.
I mean,
they had a chance to win the division and not be in this position, but they messed around and lost at home in a 1-game playoff.
I was sort of for the Brewers, though.
I'm glad the Brewers are good. I wouldn't mind seeing some fresh.
I can't name one player on their team. But
Yelich.
I can't name one player on the Cubs.
Come on.
I used
Baez.
to. Let me tell you, back in the old days when I was in college and you fall asleep to TV and I'd fall asleep to Sports Center and it was on constant repeat.
Yeah.
I learned baseball through osmosis. I mean, I could name everybody.
Yeah.
But now I don't follow Sports Center. So god awful, I can't watch it anymore. So I don't fall asleep to Sports Center anymore. So I don't get any baseball talk, and my life's so much better without it. I mean, I just don't enjoy baseball at all, and I know people do, and that's fine. Different strokes, different folks. I just don't. I cannot watch it. I've tried to struggle through it, and it's just so painful to me.
I know.
Football.
Why do you think I put
you
it
can
on
analyze. I know. Thank you.
A's at the Yankees tomorrow night. 1-game play-in. Who you like?
Oh man, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go with the Yankees in a pinch.
Hey, always go with the Yankees at home. Although I'd love to see the A's. Winner of the Colorado, huh?
Why?
Why? Because the A's?
Yeah.
They have played extremely well. They got Kendall Graveman. I mean, he plays for the A's. He's not playing right now because he's injured, but he is an A. That's another reason to root for him right there. But they have played an extremely good second half. Have come out of nowhere and basically forged their way into this playoff. So
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will. The winner of the Chicago-Colorado series will take on the Brewers in Milwaukee for a best 3 out of 5 You say you pulling for the Brewers?
Sure, why not?
The Oakland and New York winner will tell you at the Red Sox. Red Sox didn't make it to that elusive, 100 and whatever, 17 wins, but did have a really good season.
How many did they get?
I think they ended up with like 112 or something. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it was 110. I forget. I kind of lost track of them down the stretch. Braves at the Dodgers on Thursday night. Can the Braves beat the Dodgers?
I mean, boy, this is going to get my house egged, but I'm for the Dodgers.
I know you are.
Just so I don't dislike the Braves. Really, I don't dislike the Braves. I just get so tired of talking about them when we're dead in the middle of college football season. No. This is Atlanta's way over there. You are
the absolute master of multitasking, and you can't keep up with baseball and football at the same time.
That's true, but I can't do baseball anymore. I can't. Why is baseball going? It used to be like baseball to be wrapping up about now. It's just getting kicked off, man.
No, it's always Mr. November. October. Yeah, I know. That's true. You have pushed it past October, but still. As you mentioned, the Astros will take on the Indians. Gotta like the Astros. I mean, they're tough. Penn State chokes again against Ohio State. That
was brutal. That was just brutal. And I was for Penn State. Again, another fan base that I'm kind of cheering for. I got to go to Penn State in 2011 when Alabama played there. I loved it. The atmosphere is great. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it was great. Had a lot of fun. The stadium's kind of old, needs some work, but I enjoyed it. And the people were really, really nice. And to have them heartbroken like this, especially by a guy in Urban Meyer that I absolutely cannot stand. Some people may not like Nick Saban. I totally get that. He can be sort of off-putting. But I don't see how anybody outside of Ohio State fan could like Urban Meyer. I don't see how anybody could like the guy.
I mean, dude with the bullhorn out in front of the stadium, he's fond of it.
Yeah, that's true. But he's an Ohio State fan. But so, yeah, I'm pulling against Urban Meyer every chance I get.
He's got a clipboard.
So, yeah, but I feel like now they can sort of moonwalk into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
Wisconsin turned out to be not that good.
And, Michigan's not good. Michigan was down 17-0 to a mediocre at best Northwestern team. Ohio State's going to mop the floor with Harbaugh again, and then they'll probably beat Wisconsin pretty badly.
Michigan State's not that good.
Michigan State's not that good. I mean, look, Wisconsin could have a trip up somewhere. They lost by 30-something to Iowa last year. Who knows? But I feel like they could moonwalk into the playoffs. Yeah,
I think you're probably right. The last play, though, it's 4th and 6. Your best player is, without even remotely questioned, McSorley.
And this is Heisman moment.
4th and 6, and you're driving for the winning touchdown, the winning field goal. Field goal.
2 timeouts.
2 timeouts, time on the clock, and you call timeout.
No, you called 2. There were 2 timeouts called.
You call timeout, go over to the side, and what you come up with is, we're going to try to fool them.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it that everybody in the world thinks you're going to throw there. You have to throw there. So we run this play, and we may score if he breaks through the line. But what you don't take into account for is your offensive line getting absolute whipped and 4 guys being in the backfield.
And they're whipped by a guy named Chase Young from Maryland, who Alabama recruited very hard. And I watched a lot of highlights. That guy's good, man. He's real good. And they run right at him thinking they're going to try and trip him up. Didn't work out. But on top of that, okay, yeah, bad play. But we always pull out these singular moments. Talk about the collapse when you've been holding them down all game long, and it seemed pretty obvious the best play Ohio State had was a screen play. Yeah. Don't let them catch these little screen passes. Quit getting sucked in for that.
Well, make a tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, the safety came up, and I don't know what he was doing, especially on the one that scored.
I mean, if you're a Penn State fan, you are at home right now still sobbing about that game.
Yeah.
It cost you a playoff shot. There's no doubt in my mind it cost him a playoff spot.
Yeah, I saw, who was it, Pollock on there the day before trying to say, and I'm sure that's talking points at ESPN, but, we got to figure out a way if the loser of this game's not out of it.
Yeah, they are.
They're out. They're out. As we mentioned, Notre Dame hammers Stanford. Were you surprised at that score?
No, I thought Notre Dame would win that game, but because I saw Stanford the previous week. They didn't look that strong against Oregon. They were incredibly lucky not to have lost 2 in a row. But I feel like Notre Dame now is in a pretty good spot. If they can get by Virginia Tech this week, then they have a bunch of soup cans until they get to USC on the road.
They're half a soup can. I mean,
yeah, but by that time, some of these young guys that Amon Ross St. Brown, that wide receiver, and then the quarterback who's pretty doggone salty. When he's talented, but he's supposed to be a senior this year. You know, he graduated early and he's coming in. So by that time, he will have grown up a little bit more. And USC may be playing for that. You know, let's ruin one of our arch rivals' day.
yeah.
And so that could be tricky. But, man, Notre Dame is going to be right in the mix, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We get a break, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Blitz Live when we come back right after this.
Are there any other – so the only game tonight is that Rockies game? No, the Yankees. Then you have the Yankees.
Tomorrow night. Excuse me.
I got to decide if I want to go get something to eat.
You hadn't had supper?
It's always sketchy eating.
That's not a hard decision to make. Are you hungry?
Not really.
Don't eat.
Nah, I like eating, though.
What sounds good?
Nothing, man. Where are you going to eat something around here, man?
Yeah, well, that's true. They were giving away free hot dogs up here but I'm sure they're probably gone by now.
Where are you talking about?
You know, they had this big
what are you talking about?
This expo thing, the safety expo. Did you
Oh,
see that
yeah,
thing?
I did see that, yeah. I wondered what that was.
There you go.
You're not going to make me talk any more baseball, are you?
I am not. It's time for predictions. You can make what you do best. Goodness, I hope I can.
You okay? You need a sip?
No, yeah, maybe that'll help. I don't
You
know.
want one? Hurry.
Not being able to cough sucks. Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham along with Luke Robinson for about 20 more minutes. Just a couple of segments in tonight's show. Luke, you wanted to know what the score was. 1-0 still, Colorado Rockies over the Cubs, the bottom of 5.
I believe you have you confused with anyone else.
Oh, okay. That must have been somebody else I was thinking. Time for some predictions. Games going on this weekend. Alabama is a 35-point favorite at Fayetteville. I guess it's Fayetteville, not Little Rock, I guess.
That's Fayetteville.
Okay. This is an trap game at 11 o'clock. Watch out. Oh, wait a minute. That's supposed to be for the home team. That's supposed to help the visitor. Okay.
That's bad.
11 it's doubly bad for Arkansas. 11 a.m. on ESPN. Will Alabama cover?
Yes. Yes.
Not by, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Will they double cover?
I predicted 62-3, and I'm sticking with it.
I could buy it. Texas is 4-1. They, after losing the opener to Maryland, it's the at the Cotton Bowl, they'll take on Oklahoma, who's 5-0. Oklahoma is 8.5-point favorite, but Texas has made this game closer in the last couple of years. Can Tom Herman finally give them up?
I think Texas covers this. I think Oklahoma wins, but I like Texas to cover.
Okay. Why?
Because they are playing so much better. Oklahoma still does have some defensive issues. Oklahoma can score at will, it seems.
Unless you're playing Army.
Unless you're playing Army. Well, and that's only because Army held the ball for so long. So
that one is 11 a.m. on Fox. Missouri 3-1 at South Carolina, who's 2-2. Both these teams probably about on the same level. This should be a pretty evenly matched.
I'm begrudgingly going to pick South Carolina, but this is it. They mess with me this time. I'm not picking them anymore.
I'm going to go Missouri. I think they go in and upset South Carolina. I think there's some question of what, because there's no line on this game right now. There's some question about Jake Bentley's health, I think, because he was limping around toward the end of that game last week. So that may have something to do with that. Another 11 a.m. game, this one on the SEC Network. LSU, 5-0, number 5 in the country. They are a 2.5-point favorite on the road in Gainesville after a huge win over Mississippi State. Not exactly a great game, but a huge win for the Gators. And Danny Mullen, 2:30. This is your CBS game. Does the carnival ride come to an end for LSU, or do they keep rolling along?
I'm going to pick Florida in the upset, like something in the neighborhood of 17-14.
Okay. Do you think this is a Florida goes on a drive to win it, or LSU just they go ahead and LSU can't catch up?
I just feel like it is a battle of who can score the least.
I don't know. I mean, Joe Burrow's playing better. I will give him credit.
He is playing better. I don't think he's thrown an interception this year.
That's probably – they hadn't turned the ball over hardly at all.
Yeah.
Florida State, 3-2. They've
got
a big win over Louisville.
I don't care who the next team you say out of your mouth is. I'm going with that team.
They're at Miami, who's 4-1. 12.5-point favorite Miami. Do they cover?
No.
Do not cover Florida State.
I think Florida State's still awful. Somebody in the thread asked, how did they blow it so badly against Louisville? It's just Louisville's just worse. And Patrick, Louisville had a terrible idea to pass the ball late. And
really?
Louisville's just in a world of hurt.
They're not good.
Between Papa John and the payments to Brian Bowen and this Louisville football team, Louisville's had a bad sort of year.
A lot of people wanted him at Auburn. Louisiana Monroe, they're 2-3 on the road at Ole Miss. Ole Miss 22.5. Do they cover?
No, I don't think so, because they can't stop anybody.
They cannot. They really, really cannot. You say that, and we're facetious.
Yep.
A lot of the time, no,
we're not.
This is the truth. They cannot stop anybody. Navy, 2-2. They're having a tough year, the midshipmen, but they're on the road at Air Force. They are a 3.5-point favorite. Air Force is only 1-3. This one for the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. Air Force is actually they're not very good.
I'm going to take Navy, but there's no. Don't make me explain it. I don't know.
Service Academy. You hate Service Academy games.
No, I'm pro Service Academy. In fact, I wish Alabama.
No, I'm talking about games. You just would never watch this game, would you?
I watch Army and Navy because it's awesome every year, but I wouldn't watch this one. I wish Alabama would schedule Army. I think the best PR move Alabama could ever do is schedule Army or Navy and go play them in Philadelphia or go play them in Annapolis. Oh man, you were talking about goodwill.
Yeah, I think that would be good. But I'm sure they're afraid that they would beat them 70-0. That would not be goodwill.
No, just giving them the publicity and be cool.
Of course, if you schedule Army played Oklahoma pretty well, so good. Yep. Never know. Kentucky is at Texas A&M. This is a huge one. Texas A&M actually a 6-point favorite.
I get it because everybody's still got Kentucky-itis, but I'm going to go A&M here.
Really?
Kentucky here.
Okay.
I meant to say Kentucky because I said the Kentucky-itis, so yeah, I'm going Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins the game outright.
A lot of people are thinking Kentucky's going for a nosedive in the second half.
I don't think that's going to happen.
At least not this week. Notre Dame 5-0. They're a 6-point favorite on the road at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's 3-1. They got beat by Old Dominion.
I'm going to begrudgingly pick Notre Dame. This is a bad spot, I think, for them.
I think this is a trap game.
But Virginia Tech's got a quarterback issue right now.
They do.
And I mean, you still lost to Old Dominion, man. And Notre Dame's sort of humming on offense with Dean Book back there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Vanderbilt 3-2. They are on the road at Georgia. Georgia's a 27-point favorite. Vandy upset Georgia a couple years ago. Georgia didn't really like that.
I'm going
to cover?
I'm going to say Vandy covers, but Georgia wins handily still, like 35-10.
All right, I can take that. Auburn 4-1. They're a 3.5-point favorite over Mississippi State, who is a desperate team at 3-2.
True.
Who went? You said you like Auburn.
I like Auburn, but it's 10-9. I think Mississippi State covers.
Yeah,
I want to say 3-2, but I'm going to go 10-9.
I could see 3-2. I mean, oddly enough, I could see 6-3.
I mean,
how
about 9-8? Why not?
Why not? How about 12-9? I mean, a field goal fest.
Something funky.
Again, I say first 1 to 17 wins, but
I can buy that.
We will see. Rocky's still ahead, 6-1, the top of the sixth. Cubs getting late for the Cubbies.
Is it at Colorado?
No, this is in Wrigley.
Oh, wow.
After playing, so well most of the season and being at the top of the Central Division, they have let it slip away and
slip sliding away.
Here we go. Up against another break. We'll come back with one final segment of the Auburn Blitz right after these messages. That might have been a little early. I apologize.
You okay?
Yeah. Got any grievances this week?
I'm going to have to think about it. Probably. What would be a good grievance? You have one. How about that?
What's mine?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Sorry offense. Seems to be my grievance every year.
Let me think. Something happened. Yeah, I could go off on something.
October 19th, Halloween.
That's coming out.
Yep.
I'm not a big go see a horror movie in the theater fan.
And I don't normally do it, but I went and saw Halloween 6. I remember when it came out. But I was at the junior college. A bunch of girls went, and I went with them. But this one, I will go see this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard Venom was not good.
I saw some clips, and I was like,
bad.
That's not the normal Marvel type.
Yeah, it's kind of
like
I was like, man, come on. Why do y'all keep messing these movies up?
Well, in Marvel's defense, they have gotten more right than they've messed up.
True. They messed up. Well, Marvel wasn't it Fox that had Fantastic Four and messed it up? And then and X-Men just hadn't been that good. I'm worried this next one won't be good.
I'm okay with the X-Men movies. You didn't like Days of Future Past? I thought that was pretty good.
Days of Future Past was pretty good. But the last one, Apocalypse, was
that was...
The villain was sort of not fleshed out well enough, and it was sort of cheesy looking.
Yeah. Sooner or later, they're going to start
Logan was
over.
great, yep.
Yeah. Sooner or later, they're going to start over with Wolverine now. Right? They
Yeah.
just can't keep doing it.
Well, they said he might come back if their spot was right. But, yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke taking you up to 9 o'clock this evening. Still 1-0, 2 outs in the top of the sixth. Colorado leading Chicago. Tomorrow night, it will be the Oakland A's at Yankee Stadium for a one-game playoff to see who will go on to play the Red Sox, the best team in baseball this year. Good luck with that. Time for the airing of grievances.
I guess if there was an airing agreement, I mean, can we just be done with this Kavanaugh thing? I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's been brutal. And I feel bad.
By which way? I mean,
I feel bad for just about everybody involved. I do feel bad for Kavanaugh because this is a guy who's been thrown under the bus for a party line.
Judged guilty.
Do I think he? Now that it comes out, he threw ice at somebody and started a melee. I mean, first of all, let's define melee.
Yeah.
And secondly, when you were in college, if you didn't throw ice at somebody, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Now, if he did the things he's accused of, then, hey, I'm for throwing him under the bus. But you got to bring more to the table 35 years after the fact, some kind of proof other than just, yeah, I'm sure it was him, but I can't tell you when, can't tell you how, can't tell you this.
Yeah, I'm fuzzy on every detail, but it was that guy.
And, it's not a party. It's become such a party thing. Like, we've got to destroy their candidate, no matter who it is. And this goes both ways. I'm not saying the guy's a saint. I don't know if he's a saint or not. And I don't know if the accusers are lying or not. And I don't know if they're just brainwashed or maybe they can't really remember it. Maybe they're so traumatized. But that's the thing, it's so nebulous out there. Why are we getting to see all this? Why couldn't this be handled in a more intimate setting? Why do we have to know all this? We don't need to know all this. Do we?
No. Well,
it's only dividing us further.
Yeah. I mean, the one allegation that was clearly the most serious, because I don't even take the last one with the Avenatti in it. I didn't even take that even remotely serious. But, the one that he exposed, supposedly exposed himself at a party and when he was a freshman in college. And the woman said, I wanted an FBI investigation about that. And my thought on that is, as a man that had went to college, that if you're going to investigate a frat party
from 35 years ago,
well, if you're going to investigate a frat party where a freshman exposed himself, that's every frat party that's ever happened in the last 30 years.
I'll never forget when I first went to Alabama, there was a guy there, and
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying look, going in that this is the kind of party that it is. That's every college party.
That's the way it is. Well, that's what, when I first went to Alabama, I went over to this party at this guy's house, and somebody said, man, this guy's crazy. He'll get naked anytime you ask him. And there are a ton of people in there. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, that seems so foreign to me. And he said, so-and-so, getting it. And the guy just took his clothes off. And there he was. And it wasn't like he should take his clothes off. Yeah. He just did. And I was like, oh, my God. Everybody fell out and had a good time. My first thought wasn't, you ain't ever getting on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, really.
All right,
high school yearbooks. That's what we're examining for a Supreme Court judge.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Is it Brian?
Man, Brian, I thought we were going to go a whole show
just
without you, baby.
The wire.
Alabama 45. The whole, I'm on 10.
45-10.
45-10. He's thinking right on the money.
Yeah. That's a good cover.
Thank you, Brian.
How about Elmore County beating Dable?
They're playing Handley this week.
Handley,
yeah.
Okay. That's going to be tough.
14 by 14.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, go to roll.
Roll Tide. Ruben Peaches yelled in Quandro, said, what's a devil's triangle? You know what? My mom, this is awful. My mom came into my office and they said, what is this devil's triangle? And I said, I don't know, but I don't want to find out. I'm scared to Google it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm a Michael Keaton. I don't understand the reference.
I know. I mean, this is but look, this whole thing is played out too much. And you know, it's so predictable. The Fox News people are just, oh, the accusers, they're so full of it, they don't know what they're talking about. And the MSNBC, oh, well, God, we're going to let a serial rapist on the Supreme Court. It can be somewhere in the middle, guys.
Well, look, here's the, I mean, truthfully, and we made some light of this, but if we get to a point where we just throw away the presumption of innocence and the fact that there must be at least a preponderance of it, not even overwhelming, but just a preponderance
other than word of mouth.
I mean, just by somebody to say something. I mean, there has to be some sort of, proof of some sort. Otherwise, I mean, people. I mean, I don't understand how people can't understand that. Do you? I mean, do you understand?
But that's how blinded we are to party lines now. It's become Alabama and Auburn for politics.
But this is not party lines. This is talking about the American justice system for the last 250 years.
I understand. Well,
I mean, it's scary.
I agree.
As a white man, I mean, apparently I'm an evil person just because I am who I am.
You are, but not because you're a white man. More to do with your Auburn affiliation.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm doubly disdained. But anyway, if you've got a grievance out there, we'd love to hear it as well. I'm pretty sick of I will tell you this, going to a college football game, you never want to hear the words, we are going into a delay because there has been lightning within 7 miles of the stadium. Now, I appreciate, you looking out for me and you want everybody to be healthy, and that's wonderful. But, man, I mean, that's like, did you see this?
Because there's 30 minutes after the delay's over that you don't kick off, right?
Yeah, and it was 2.5 hours, and I did not make it that far. But did you see the look on Jarrett Stidham's face when before they made the announcements? He just thought, he was like, "Dang, come on," because he was like, "It's 4 minutes till halftime."
I know.
It's 4 minutes, just like, because it didn't rain,
I know.
It didn't thunder, it didn't lightning for that 4 minutes. They could have got it in, but anyway, I understand. You do what you got to do. That's going to wrap it up for Sports Blitz Live. Thank you so much for all of you out there joining us. We will be on the air next week, same time, same channel. We'll be with you for the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show Friday night, beginning at 10 o'clock, or the FNL Scoreboard Show beginning at 8. For Luke Robinson, I'm Andy Graham. So long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.